It's been a very busy morning for us. We're now 8 hours into this large fire in Albany Park. Right now, most of the fire is out and contained, but there are some hot spots still simmering.
Yeah, what you're seeing here on your screen is drone video from above, really giving us a bird's eye view of this destruction. This video new coming in here at 11. We have team coverage with Mugo Odigwe looking at how the fire affected the homes that are in that area. But we begin with Marissa Parra to tell us more about this devastating damage. Marissa.
Ryan, Audrina, a lot has changed in the hours that we've been here. I want to first show you a little bit of what we're seeing right now. For those of you who have been tuning in since the very beginning, you can see dramatically different. There's not that billowing black smoke that we were seeing this morning. A lot of that has calmed down. You can see a little bit of smoke further down. To kind of set the scene for you, this is Richmond Street in Albany Park. We've been talking about what this street sort of looks like, but I think the most striking image that you can see more clearly now than you could this morning are those cars. That's rubble, basically, on top of it. You've got cement blocks and brick just piled on top of those cars. Now let's talk a little bit about what we know, right? Everything that led up to this moment. So we understand that call came in sometime around 3:30. Now you have this residential building that's behind the commercial building right here. We're going to get to Twisted Hippo Brewery in just a moment, but our understanding is that when firefighters got here, they saw on the second and third floor, that's where those flames were. Now let's show you what the video looked like earlier this morning when our crews first got here. And if you listen, you might actually hear some banging sounds. Our photographer Lou said that this is the sound of those explosions that we're going to get to in just a moment. But you had over 150 firefighters trying to keep those flames at bay. And this is something that they've been working on for hours, as we've mentioned. Now, those explosions, so powerful, it collapsed part of the building, even waking up neighbors across the street. One of them said the impact cracked his windows. And all of these hours later, those firefighters were working from both above and below. They call it the surround and drown tactic to try to tackle that fire inside of the commercial building. But because of the way that it's structured, they had to be careful to stay away.
The building itself is a one-story truss roof. To us, is the most dangerous type of building to fight. So precautions are taken, collapse zones are set up.
And remember, these aren't just buildings. This morning, people lost both. Some of them might have lost their homes. We know some of them have been getting help from the American Red Cross, at least 5 different people. But other people also lost their livelihoods. And that is something that is so difficult, especially after a pandemic. Ultimate Ninjas Chicago is one example. That's a gym that's been around for years. They do a lot of work with kids in the area. They actually had camps scheduled that were supposed to start in just a few hours. They were expecting about 90 kids to show up. And then obviously you also have this bar, this beloved bar, this staple of Albany Park, Twisted Hippo, a total loss just as well. We caught up with the owner who says watching her dreams go up in flames has been devastating, but she's trying to keep perspective and stay grateful that it wasn't worse.
We started in January of 2019. Our whole goal was to create a space for the community. A light, bright, warm, and inviting space with a little bit of something for everyone. And I think that we have done that, but we'll just have to see how we move forward.
A lot of important information, but the two most important ones, this building is unstable, and so it will need to be demolished. They're keeping people far away from it in order to keep you safe. So just remember that. This is going to be demolished later today. That is for everyone's safety. And the other thing is, if you feel compelled to help these businesses, these owners, there are links, these fundraisers. We have posted them to our website, cbschicago.com. Reporting live from Albany Park, Marissa Parra, CBS 2 News.
Marissa, so glad I see the community coming together. I actually saw Marissa's tweet, so many people responding saying we want to help. So I'm glad we have those links right now. Now, the fire impacted not only the apartment building that caught, but also nearby homes. Mugo Odigwe joins us with that part of the story. Mugo, what have you learned this morning?
So So, Audrina, power has been a big issue for people who live in the area near the fire. But I also want to be very clear here. It all depends on the location, because we walked through several blocks in this area. Right now, we're close to Richmond Street. We walked through several blocks in this area. A lot of people told us they were fine, they had power. But one specific block, they told us they did not have power at all. So take a look at this video here, because you can see this line of ComEd trucks parked outside this alley. This alley is really close to that specific block where people told us they did not have power. So from what we learned from the fire department and from ComEd as well, they say the fire department called them and said, hey, can you guys turn off power at this point so we can get closer to that fire and really fight it. So in all, according to ComEd, they turned off power for about 350 customers. At some point, they restored power to 228 of them. Right now, they're just waiting for the go-ahead from the fire department to finally restore power to all the other homes that don't have power at this point. Earlier, we spoke with one man who said he did not have power since 4 this morning.
We're trying to keep the baby. I have a baby and a little girl. We're trying to keep them in the house, making sure that they're warm. The cooking gas is working, so that's a good thing. But there's no heat, no electricity. So yeah, we're hoping that the power comes back on.
So the good news right now, according to Paris, he's been told that power should be restored by 12:30 this afternoon. Obviously, he's hoping that happens sooner rather than later. We're live in Albany Park. Mugo, Odigwe, CBS 2 News.